Surge seems like the card Fastos was meant to be.
Am I a joke to you?
But the meta is pretty high powered right now. Is that even good enough? Let's find out.
Is it worth it?
What's going on, nerds? Let's go. Surge is a 2 energy, 2 power card that reads, on reveal, give the top card of your deck -1 cost and +1 power. After you play it, repeat this ability. So at first glance, Surge seems like the card you can really abuse or take advantage of. It's also the sort of card that people get really excited about, but then ultimately just get disappointed. The more I've been thinking about the card, the more I think it's just a generally good card that any deck would be willing to play at least. Obviously, some decks are going to take advantage of this effect more than others. The first thing that comes to mind for me is Bounce and Thanos, of course, but I think the gap between decks that can really abuse this and decks that just don't mind it and just happen to play it, I think the gap between those two is smaller than it actually seems. But what do you guys think? Hot take time. We got Fernet saying real better Fastos. Yeah, I agree. Or at least you know I did if you were watching the first 30 seconds of this video. Or I got Black Bully saying just needs Cable to completely shut her down. Too much of a high risk card. Though if they have no counterplay against it, pretty broken card with many combinations. No one's going to play Cable to shut this card down. What are you talking about, dude? Also, you should never take any potential counters for cards into consideration when you're thinking about a card's power. Too much of a high risk card? No. You play this on turn 2, it gives you 1 energy and 1 power. It saved you an energy. That's worth 2 energy. So it's not high risk whatsoever. This is like the least risky card in all of Marvel Snap. Sorry, Black Bully Amit. No. I got Rabbarazzer saying, I for one am ecstatic. It hurts when the new card doesn't shake up the meta. I'll be shocked if she's bad. Bruh. Got Raffle Waffle Lol. That is a very 2005 MySpace name. Saying, personally, the versatility of her is what makes her very strong. She'll have great synergy in really any deck she goes in as a 2-drop. I totally agree. I think that's probably what's going to end up being the best part about this card. Is it's like, don't know what to play as a 2-drop? Just fucking throw Surge in there. It'll be better than, you know, just having Medusa or some shit. So yeah. We agree. Got Jonathan Storms. Is that your last name for real? That's awesome. Triple hit with Mysterio. But no, this raises a good question. I don't know the answer to this. I included it here because Mysterio is hilarious. And also, if it is a triple hit, I mean, technically Mysterio says you play 3 of the same card. Like, that's why it's good with Hitmonkey and Bishop and stuff. So maybe I could see it actually doing that, yes, which actually kind of changes Surge a lot. But I could also seeing it not doing that. Either way, though, it should give the power to all the clones. Like the clones will be, the illusion, sorry, will be +1 power. And the real one will be 5 power at the end of the game. I think so. Got Grivak saying, seems like a winner and potentially a new meta definer. Also looks like the album cover of Eve 6 Horoscope. If you don't know what he's talking about with the album cover or Eve 6, I mean, if you're under 40, you probably have no clue what either of those are. Here's the album cover. And also, thank you, Grivik. I haven't thought about Eve 6 since I was in 6th grade, which was in like 98 or something. Got a DP Zerif. I think I'm saying that right. It says, oh, look, it's the new Jeff. Got an extra spot. Surge. Yeah, basically. I mean, Jeff isn't even Jeff anymore, but I completely agree. What do you play for a 2-drop? Surge. Mr. Nice plays. Cool card. Great character. Legendary soda. That soda was ridiculous. I remember being like a little kid and thinking that if you drank that, you were literally doing meth. All right, the good and the bad of Surge. First thing here, if chained, yeah, basically if you play this on turn 2 and you keep it going until turn 6, that's an immense amount of value. It's like having an Electro that gave you 4 power on top of that. 5, I don't know. Gave you some power on top of that. That's absurd. Not going to happen a lot, but when it does, that's going to be nutty. And I think the decks that can chain this every single turn are the ones that like Surge is going to feel broken in. Everything else, I wouldn't expect it to chain repeatedly, just give you some decent value, which is my second point here. Most decks don't mind it. Some want it. I'm not going to harp too much on this because I've kind of mentioned this a couple of times through like the hot takes and stuff. But I think any deck just won't be upset if this is their 2-drop. They'll be like, all right. And some decks are gonna be like, I'm gonna abuse the fuck out of this card. So yeah. Third thing here, give any deck an energy cheat. A lot of decks, you know, stuff like Hope Summers, you have to be playing specific cards to really make that good, namely Kitty Pryde. Luna's Snow, you need to be able to take advantage of the energy more than the opponent. So you have like a lot of top end cards. Wave, same deal. Electro, that's only for decks that only want to play one card a turn. So if you want to play an energy cheat in the game, you have Psylocke or now Surge. Otherwise, you have to be like a very specific type of ramp deck. The bad, the power feels irrelevant. I do think the energy is actually the main draw of this card. The power is fine. I know there's going to be people out there who try to play this with Fastos and then play it with like Brood and Mr. Sinister or like a Gwenpool or something. I think that's the wrong way to take this deck. I think most of the times the power you get from this card, you're not really going to care about. And the second thing here, no control really. Your deck is random at all times. And so whatever you give the -1 and +1 to, you don't know what it's going to be. The way you minimize this is by making your deck in a way that every card can be played the next turn. Basically, you have to have a good curve. And the last thing here, bad late game. I think turn 5 and 6, it's whatever. You know, on turn 5, playing this plus a 3-drop is not that crazy. I don't think you're going to blow any minds with it. So the real power of this card is playing it on turn 2 or turn 3, or playing it with a draw card like Adam Warlock or something. But I think that's a little silly. But yeah, just bad late game. All right, and for an example deck list, this is what I kind of want to try it in to start. I think the Zabu Ajax decks have historically been pretty good. They're really powerful, like when you do your thing. But the problem with them is they've always been a little awkward. You always want to play 1 or 2 more cards than you could have otherwise. They're really, really awkward if you don't play Zabu on turn 1. So here you play Zabu and Surge, and they kind of complement each other. Play Zabu, it makes your 4 drops cost less. So when you play Surge on 2, if you draw one of those 4 drops that is -1, you can play that. It gets cheaper. Maybe you'll be able to play like a Silver Sable instead, and you keep it going. And it's pretty cool. We also have Iron Lad here to be a backup Surge maybe, but Iron Lad in this kind of deck is just like, it's fantastic. Everything it copies here, yeah, pretty much everything it copies here is like you're happy with, or it's great. But yeah, other decks, you know, to keep in mind, like I said, are Thanos and Bounce, because they can take advantage of the card. But I wanted to make this because I think this is the best example of a deck where like you wouldn't think of Surge off the top of your head, but it welcomes Surge and it makes the deck better, even though this isn't like a Surge deck. All right, on to my recommendation. Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think this is what's going to be in the first week of the season pack, because a bunch of stuff is rotating today. Like all the primeval or prehistoric Avengers stuff is not going to be in the packs anymore. So I'm pretty sure this is what's going to be in the pack when you crack them today. So my recommendation on Surge is, if you have the 6K lying around, I don't think you'll be disappointed with Surge. I think it's just going to be a generically okay card, and a card that you can play in any deck like Jeff. It's just kind of always worth the 6K tokens, because maybe it's not a super broken powerful effect that changes the metagame, but you're probably going to see a lot of decks like at the top of competitive play that just so happen to play Surge. And it's one of those cards where it's like, what do I replace Surge with? The answer is usually going to be Psylocke, but that's not really a good answer in Surge's scenario. So once again, for tokens, if you have the 6K, sure, I think it's a safe buy, even if it's not going to be a super busted card. Now, as far as packs go, I think if you don't have Goliath or you don't have Strange Supreme, I'm okay with gambling with the packs, because that's a 60-something% chance, 60% chance that you get a card you want. Kahori and Infinity Ultron or whatever, you don't need those cards whatsoever. I mean, Infinity Ultron's just bad, and Kahori's like okay. But yeah, so yeah, spending 5K on the packs, two scenarios. One, you don't have Goliath and Strange Supreme. Yes. Two, you have all these cards except for Search. Also, yes. That's the end of the video. Later, nerds.